Hey all, Cohen here. So I have promised to make a video about my phalloplasty consult in Montreal, and I have not done that yet, and I'm sorry, so this is going to be that video. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video. I'm going to tell everybody pretty much the basics, because I'm on the wait list at this point in time, so I haven't asked in depth about like the final stages. I know the gist of everything, um, but I don't want to get ahead of myself, so like I'm not trying to plan what exactly I want, as far as erectile devices and things like that. So, what I've done is I've asked the information that I personally would like to know right now, and I have that. And then before every stage, I plan on asking any additional questions that I may have. So, what I'm going to do in this video is just give you a rundown about my consult and pretty much the stages of my surgery, and then that'll be it. I don't want to make this too long. Most of my videos are pretty long, unfortunately, but I try to put as much info in them as possible, so that's a good thing. So, anyways, on January 17th, I went to Montreal and I had my consult with Dr. Belanger, and we talked about my alt phalloplasty. So, originally, I've done videos where I've said that I was going to be going to Brownstein and Crane, which originally that was my plan, but unfortunately, due to personal issues, financing, and other things like that, I had to change my mind. So I had approached Montreal via email asking them if they would do alt phalloplasty with thigh graft for me, and they got me to go to my doctors and get a bunch of forms filled out and things like that. And from that, they were able to tell me that I'm a candidate for alt phalloplasty, which I kind of already knew because Brownstein and Crane told me that I was a really good candidate. So I wasn't expecting them to tell me any different. And then from there, I had to go get scans of my thighs, which I've said in another video as well. Um, the scans came back. I had a little bit of an issue with the hospital not doing the proper report for it, but either way, Dr. Belanger has a radiologist that she refers to, and the radiologist was able to look at my scans when they got a chance. And then I was given my consult date because they said that everything looked good and they could go ahead and start processing things as far as consults and hopeful surgery dates. So I went in. It was like 9:45 in the morning, and I'll start off at the beginning. It was very nice in the office. Everybody was very polite. I had been conversing with Emily. Um, she's the main admin, and I guess if it's for funding and things like that, any information sorry, you're usually dealing with her when you're talking about booking or any issues that you might have. She's like the main person that you talk to. Um, I'm saying a lot. Sorry, guys. Um, there I go again. So, everybody else was really nice. I met Dr. Belanger, and she was lovely. She was very, very nice. Emily was just as lovely as she had been in the like 40 plus emails that we exchanged back and forth. If you want to know anything about in depth about what I had to do in order to get to this point, there are some videos before this where you can go take a look and you can find out everything. So, we started off talking about my thighs, and they said that either one would be a good choice. So, I actually asked them to talk to the radiologist and make sure that the best thigh was being chosen. So, I actually found out yesterday that it's going to be my right thigh. And from there, I will go into the stages of surgery. So, stage one will be constructing my phallus and to create a scrotum. And if they have time, they will do glandsplasty during that. Now, for that, I will be in the hospital for about 5 days, and then they'll move me to the recovery center, which is right next door. And then I'll be there for roughly 3 to 4 days ish, and then I should be able to go home. So it's like roughly a week and a half that I might be in Montreal, which is a good thing because I have anxiety, agoraphobia, and I don't do well in places that are not my home. So that's awesome for me because if I was going to San Francisco, like I was originally going to do, that would have been like probably closer to a month. So I'm super stoked about the time frame. It's because I live in a relatively safe distance that if anything after the point of they let me go happens to go wrong, it won't be anything too big. Fingers crossed, and then I would be able to get back and not have too big of an issue. So that would be stage one. And then stage two would be that they're going to create my urethra. So what they will do, and this is an exact motion from Dr. Belanger, they're going to take the phallus and they are going to slice it open like a book. And then they are going to make my urethra, either from skin from inside my mouth or an area like right above my pelvic pubic line. They can use that area, and so during that stage they will create my urethra. They will not hook it up yet, but it will be created, and I'll probably be there for about a weekish, a week and a half again. And then in stage three I will go and I will have the urethra hookup done, and that will be about 3 days and then I get to come home. And then stage four would be for me to get testicular implants and an erectile device if I so choose to at that point in time, and that would be a 3 day stay, and then I could get to go home. So overall, the stay time isn't terrible. I do have 4 stages, which at the end of the day, I'd rather if they take their time and do it meticulously versus rushing through and just doing it in 1 or 2 stages. I know that there are doctors who can do amazing jobs in 1 to 2 surgeries, but at the end of the day, this is what my surgeons feel comfortable with doing and at the rate that they feel comfortable doing it. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with that. I got to get in. I have a surgeon who's willing to do the surgery and the donor site that I would like, and my stay won't be that long, and I'm relatively close, and I have family just in Ontario on the other side of Quebec. So if need be, I can always stay there for a bit too. So at the end of the day, I was told that I could go get electrolysis done after the fact. So therefore, I wouldn't have to necessarily go get electrolysis now. But in my personal opinion, I feel like I would be a lot more comfortable uh, getting my leg hair removal done before it turns into my phallus while it's still my leg. I just think I live in Hamilton, and at the end of the day, I don't know of anyone or anywhere that is overly LGBT friendly to the point that I would feel comfortable having them do electrolysis on my penis. The bonus that I was told if I were to do that is that the sensation and feeling in your penis does take a certain amount of time to come back. And if I did do electrolysis after the phallus was created, then I would not actually feel too much pain. So that's interesting and an awesome thing to think about, but at the end of the day, I think I would be far more comfortable if I went with the thigh. And at this point, I was told that for 2019, they are booked up. They have a wait list for 2020 that they haven't tackled yet, and I am on a cancellation list. And if it ends up being close enough that I don't have too many more electrolysis treatments to go through, then I will most likely decide to take a cancellation date. But I'm not overly concerned. 2020 won't be too far away, and I've been working on getting phalloplasty in general probably for the last like 3.5 years, 4 years maybe. So it's one of those things where I'd rather not push my luck. um, I don't know how much else I have to say. Like, obviously, there's risks, there's things that could happen during surgery, there's things that can happen after surgery, there are discomforts, there are all these things, and there are tons of people who have made videos about it, and I definitely suggest checking out anybody that you can on YouTube who is open enough to talk about their phalloplasty, because it is a very invasive surgery. It is a very mentally, emotionally, physically draining surgery, which I hope I will be prepared for, but I don't think anybody can be prepared for something that big. So fingers crossed that I can just do my best. And I've seen a lot of people that I either know personally or I know online who have gone through the surgery already, and they've done amazingly. So I really think that watching other people that I know, whether it be online or in person, going through something that I'm going to be going through, and just seeing them make it through it and say, yeah, it was tough, but it was so worth it, that makes me very optimistic. Uh, I probably can get into more stuff later on. I kind of just wanted to make this video to let you guys know that I did have my consult. It went really well. I learned about all the stages. Obviously, like I said, risks of fistulas, wounds not healing properly, wounds taking longer to heal. There's the risk of everything going wrong, but we won't think about that. I just keep that as a little note in the back of my head. And then there's also the risk that things could reject or skin could die, and then I would have to probably have another stage of surgery or have correctional surgery before I could process further on. But that's those are things that are a possibility. It's not to say that it's going to happen, and the percentage the percentage of the chance of it happening is just actually very small, and a lot of people have little issues or something usually after such a big surgery. But at the end of the day, I'm not overly worried. I've been researching this for a long time, and I think that mentally I've prepared myself pretty well. I will make another video in the future once I start electrolysis, and I'll be showing the process of my hair removal. I want to let everybody know in advance that I will not be showing my penis at any point in time online or in person or anything. So please don't ask, because I'm not going to. I will show certain things. I don't know how much of my surgery and recovery I will film. I am going to try to, but it will all depend on how I feel when it happens and all that other stuff. So I think I'm going to leave this video at just letting you guys know about the fact that I was comfortable with my consult, comfortable with my surgeon. I'm happy with how everything went. I'm happy with the plan that is set forth. I'm happy that I am able to get what I am hoping for and wishing for, and not having to compromise or end up with a tattooed penis, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people don't have an issue with it, and I don't think it's that big of a deal, but for me personally, I have my dog tattooed on my arm, and I really don't want her on my penis. And I also have Remy from Ratatouille, and I have Jiminy Cricket as Hamlet, so I really would prefer not to have those on my penis. I'm sure if I would have known that I was trans way before I started getting tattoos, especially on my arms, that I probably would have held off. But at the end of the day, I am actually more drawn towards alt, because I'm not a fan of the scar on the arm. And at the end of the day, I'm actually super small. Pretty sure you guys can see that. And I don't know what I would be able to get out of the size of my arms. So, yeah. I think that is all I want to say. Sorry this video has been so confusing. Clearly I have not made one in a while. I do want to make a few more. I've just been super busy. I became a dad recently, and I want to make a video about that as well. and I'd also like to make a video about a few other things. But at the end of the day, this was the one that I kind of wanted to get out. Like I said, I will get more in depth with. I'll get more in depth with the stages. I'll get more in depth with risks. I'll get more in depth with the reasons why I decided Montreal, even though originally I wasn't a fan of Montreal. But my mind did change, and I'm glad that it did, to say the least. So I'll cut this video off here because it's actually getting pretty long, and I'm probably rambling now. So I do apologize. I hope this video is decent enough that everybody was able to follow along. Sorry it took so long. Sorry it's such a hot mess. And the next one will be better. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.